There's something most people miss when it comes to building professional relationships that actually last. And it's not about how many people you know or how valuable you can be to them from day one. It's actually a lot simpler than that, but it's way harder to get right. But take a moment and think about the people in your life you would do just about anything for. These are the ones you'll actually answer the phone for even at midnight because you know they'll do the same for you. Now imagine if your professional relationships had even half that loyalty and trust. What would that do for your career or business? So, what's the secret to lasting professional relationships? Well, most people get it completely backwards, and truth is, it's not what you think. So today we're digging into why so many connections fail to go the distance and the one simple thing that makes all the difference. Welcome to the Creating Opportunities podcast. This is a place where we help smart, ambitious professionals create better relationships for success. And why? Because people matter. They're messy, but they make life better and they matter. And I am your host, Cassandra. I am a speaker, trainer, an iced coffee lover. It's important you know that. And I am here to help you make deeper connections. So let's get into it. Okay, so building professional relationships isn't easy anymore because we are in a world where networking means quick wins and it's all about who you know and what you can get from them, right? That's how a lot of people go about it. Now, if you've been here before, you know that's not how I feel about it, but that's what the world thinks of as networking. So no wonder building authentic professional relationships can feel difficult. And honestly, if you have that mindset of quick wins, who you know, well, it's not surprising if you're frustrated when those professional relationships don't pan out. The people who act that way spend time wondering why those connections didn't work and why they haven't heard from people for months or even years. And the reason is simple. Those relationships were built on the wrong foundation. One of the biggest reasons professional relationships don't last is because people treat them like transactions. There's this underlying expectation, like if I do something for you, you better do something for me, right? It's my whole issue with give value first. You're still just being selfish about it. And honestly, think about your personal relationships for a moment. Do you keep a mental tally of every favor a friend has done for you or you've done for a friend? Probably not. At least, man, I really hope not. The problem with that transactional mindset is it creates a sense of obligation and pressure, which can make the relationship feel more like a business deal than a genuine connection. And if you're always thinking about what you're going to get in return, then you're missing the whole point. And that's why professional relationships just don't last often. So what's the alternative to, these grand gestures at the beginning, these big asks or big gives, hoping for a favor in return? Well, it's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It's consistency. Instead of making a big splash and then vanishing, you want to be someone who shows up with small interactions consistently over time. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any valuable relationship. Too often, people think they can just show up at one or two events, make a handful of connections, and then they're set. But that's not how it works. Relationships require ongoing effort. It's about doing things like checking in, sharing resources, or even just saying, hey, I thought of you today, when you thought of the person. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or a big ask or a big give. It's really more about being thoughtful in the small things. And this brings me to something we often overlook in professional settings: genuine care. Yep, care is the big buzzword on this podcast. We are all about genuine care. And that includes the basic, how can I help you, or thinking of you sorts of things. But also, it's the kind where you actually invest in someone as a person, where you remember their goals, remember what they're working on, remember details about their life, like that they're a huge Dodgers fan or that their kid is in a talent show next month. When you show people you are actually interested in them and their success, the dynamic of the relationship changes. People can tell when you're reaching out only because you want something, but when you're consistently there, reaching out just because, that sets you apart from the crowd. Honestly, in a world of superficial connections, being the person who genuinely cares is a game changer. And then there is is giving. Now remember, giving doesn't always mean giving value like advice, but giving of your time, accepting, doing the favor somebody asks of you. But the key is to give without expecting immediate returns. Now, this doesn't mean you should let people take advantage of you, but it does mean that sometimes you should be okay with giving more than you take. When you invest in others, you are essentially making deposits into a relationship bank, but at the same time, don't keep score, right? So you want to give to people, but don't keep score on it. But every time you give, it is going to be in the back of their head like, oh, that was really nice of her. Oh, this is a person I can rely on. This is a person I trust. And here's the thing, people remember the people who help them without strings attached. So if you want to build professional relationships that last, the key is to stop focusing on immediate transactions and immediate results with that person. Instead, start focusing on consistency, genuine care, and giving more than you get. These are the kinds of things that build a foundation of trust and lead to relationships going the distance. Now, if you're sitting here at this point thinking, okay, great, I can start that with people now, but shoot, there's some people I dropped the ball on that I would like to reinvigorate those relationships. Well, I have LinkedIn templates for you. They are called From Hello to Hello Again. They are my proven LinkedIn messages, both to engage new connections and reinvigorate, re-engage those old connections that maybe are collecting dust. These could be old coworkers, old students from, back in college, people you knew before you moved, whatever. This message will get those relationships going again so that you can make asks down the road and you can help them down the road too. I know a lot of people struggle with, what do I even say after a long time? This message will get it going. So you can get the link for that in the description box below or in the show notes. And if you want more info on what I mean when I say stop giving value and start caring instead, well, you can go listen to this episode right here or in the show notes below. I will have it linked. And that's it for today. I'll go see you over there. Bye.